So the Oceanics ranked May 2022, and you will see a ranking number in the top left, as well as a score on the bottom, which is out of 5 BEWDs. And our scoring system basically goes off of how I review characters, which is number 1, initial kit, how the kit reads; number 2, flexibility, usability, multiple teams / factions; scope, the usefulness in beginning, mid, and end game; viability, how many game modes they're useful in; and then performance, how the kit reads, or how the kit performs compared to how it reads. I know you have questions, Chelsea, and I will get there. I promise I'll get there. I will get there. But let's. You did Jack Sparrow, Darity. I know. I'll get there. I promise I'll get there. I'll explain everything. I promise. So let's start with Kira. She and Moana are very much tied at the top as the best characters in this entire faction. I don't even think I could put them 1 and 2. They're kind of like 1A and 1B. They're both fantastic. They both do different things. Kira's more the sustainable kind of juggernaut of the team, but Moana is the one that's going to bring the damage and really give you that offensive potential that isn't it's stand the test of time, right? And she is the definition of flexibility and scope in this game. You know, she can be used in princesses, oceanics, adventurers, and she does really deserve to be 1A and 1B with Kira. So then you have Ursula, which, you know, I put her at 4.5 out of 5 just because I think she's an excellent tune for the raid, but I feel like when I have Ursula, I have better options. Not saying she's bad or not usable or not good, but it was kind of like nitpicking, right? I didn't believe she was 5 out of 5, but she definitely did deserve to be 4.5 out of 5. She is very squishy, but she does give you that mechanic of manipulating turn meter on battle start, which is very important. She has been very helpful for me against the princesses, trying to find princess counters for ST defense, attacking ST defense teams. So she does definitely deserve to be number 3 here. Maui, number 4, his lead is ridiculous with Moana, and then she's 5 out of 5. But the pairing there is super fast, with speed being rearing its head being very important. They do make an excellent combo to give you a good chance against the meta, which is the princess faction. So Maui definitely deserves to be up here. Milo is next, and if you do follow my channel, you'll see that I had Milo at 4 out of 5 after his fixes, is what they called them. Yeah, fixes. But I just keep finding ways to utilize Milo. Not only does Milo help me tremendously with my Eve team, I do run Milo for my Eve team, but he is going to be an essential lead for Club Expedition when they come out with different difficulties. His adventurer lead is, in my opinion, better than Frank's, and it will be helpful in the difficulties that come out in the future. So he is built for the future, which is nice, but I've also gotten a lot of usage in him in fighting ST defenses, more specifically the princess meta. I do also use him in PvP as well, because his leadership does do that mass assist, and as you see with characters like Moana with a big basic. If you do get the RNG and they are able to take out a character in the beginning, starting a fight 4v5 and maybe making them use a spell like Golden Hammer in the beginning, and really utilize that resource, a key resource in a battle, is huge. Plus, I do find that his Martag is very helpful against the princesses, and I know you'll say that, he you know, they block AoE damage with Snow White. Well, they mitigate it, but if you are able to set it up properly where the first character before him does an attack that's an AoE or hits multiple targets, his Martag still does work. So he's definitely deserving of top 5 status in the Oceanics. Wendy, we all know about Wendy by now. She's fantastic in the Siege on Olympus. She is the best Peter Pan character in my opinion. CC, she is viable because Peter Pan has that CC leadership. She does pair well with him. You've also seen her in Summoner Showdown. Yes, she is in Summoner Showdown as well, I believe. But she has so much impact on the raid that she is definitely deserving of a 6th spot. Will you see her in PvP? Highly unlikely. Will you see her combating ST defenses or being on an ST defense? Maybe not. But she does have a very important node in Club Expedition. So it is advantageous to get her. So yeah, she definitely deserves to be number 6 here. And number 7 is Cobra Bubbles. I did I went back and forth. Is he a 4.5 still, or is he a 4? It depends who you ask, but I put him in 4, and the high side of 4. I think tactics is one of the strongest buffs in the game. He does make up one of those fantastic raid teams, just like Wendy does. Is he the best character for CC? No, but can you utilize him because there is a mutator on a tower? Yes. Is he still in the sun of ST or PvP? Not so much. But if what I was mentioning, if they do round out these series of characters like Lilo and Stitch, maybe you see Bubbles go back to 4.5 status with the addition of the other characters within that series. But I think 7 and 4 out of 5 is a proper spot for Bubbles. All right, we are almost halfway through. What do you all think so far? Just looking at the list as a whole, did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? It is a matter of preference sometimes. Who you ask for these. So it was kind of tough, but I kind of wanted to have it based on my experiences for the most part. But what do you guys think of the list so far? JD says, I guess you could compare these games to movies. Marvel and Star Wars are always going to be more popular. All are watched by all ages, but Disney is more geared to a younger demographic. It's like comparing Fortnite to Call of Duty. Yes, there is a different age demographic. But they are targeting our demographic as well. If you think of the characters in this game, like just look at the list I have right now. I'm not allowed to play COD. Kida, very old movie. Ursula, Little Mermaid, old movie. Milo as well. Peter Pan. Lilo and Stitch is kind of like in the middle ish. Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid again. Pirates is more towards the older demographic, in my opinion. Peter Pan again. You know, it's up for debate, right? Like when you put in characters like Elsa, I can kind of reason with that one. And they did kind of start this game around Onward for the most part. That's when I jumped in, when the Onward event was going on for Disney Plus. But really, I do believe that they were hitting the nostalgia and the targeted demographic of these people that like the Renaissance characters. So, you know, maybe it is an older demographic in your Marvels and your Star Wars, but they do have characters like Rey and Kylo Ren, and you know, they are. Oh, can I focus? Focus. There we go. Rey, Kylo Ren, characters like that. Janu's here. Hi, Janu. How are you? Sorry, I'll get back to the task on. No worries. It's, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, it's like, yes, I agree that maybe Marvel and Star Wars have a older demographic in their games. But you can make the argument for Disney as well in this game. All right, let's start back up with King Triton. And really, King Triton would have been... How do I word this? So, King Triton, and I might say the same thing about Eric, is King Triton and Eric kind of remind me of Randall, in which if they aren't at the highest of gear tiers, they leave a lot to desire. I'm pretty old. I might skew the numbers. You know, they leave a lot to desire. A little less with Triton, in my opinion. But they're characters that when you hit those highs, when you get that rune upgrade on certain, you see their potential go up and up and up. So me putting 4 out of 5 on Triton, 3.5 out of 5 on Eric, it's more general, in my opinion, because a T9 Triton with, you know, the abilities and the what's it called, the reading rainbow ability, the little flick of the rainbow, prismatic blessing, you know, those are fantastic moves that, you know, have a lot of value. But in a general sense, is Triton in PvP? Is he viable in CC? You don't really see him in ST. I think 4 out of 5 is a nice place for him. And while we're speaking about Eric, I always tell people Eric is very underrated, but you'll see his progression and growth when you hit certain tiers with him, when you upgrade certain things with him. He just gets better and better and better. So 3.5 out of 5, it could be different. He could be 4. He could be 4.5. I call it the Triton pride flag. I call it the reading rainbow ability. I don't know why. But I haven't used him in so long. But yeah, Eric is a solid tank, and he just gets better and better. Gantu, man, Gantu used to be amazing. I used to love playing Gantu, but with the AoEs being mitigated with Snow White and everything, it's tough. It's a tough time for Gantu, but tactics in Gantu is always great. And hopefully, you know, with the addition of the rest of the series characters for Lilo and Stitch, maybe there's something for him, because tactics is a super strong ability. So I had to put him at 4 out of 5. He's not a bad character, but he just doesn't have that apex in any game mode, in my opinion. Davy Jones, it falls kind of in the same category as Prince Eric. And hopefully Davy Jones has a bright future in his near future, right? If we get more Pirates characters, his synergy will go up. And again, what we were talking about with Lilo and Stitch, you know, it just boosts his viability. Davy Jones was fantastic in Forbidden Depths. He is an option for Siege on Olympus. I don't really have much for him as far as a plan, because in these days I really do. Yep, Davy Jones in the last showdown round was very, very good. Davy Jones is also fantastic for leaderboards, and some people will know that's more of the computer as opposed to being on your team. But yeah, I think he's okay to put at 3.5 out of 5 for now. Not much doing with Davy Jones of that much importance. Stitch as well. I do like to run Stitch with Sensational 6 for the raid. Is it the best? No. I did suggest to Meathead that when he came to the stream to maybe revisit Stitch and revert what was taken away from him with the great nerf. I really didn't see why they did that, and it really did hurt the viability of Stitch overall. But he has a nice slow if you're able to hit it on the special A, and the car was so nice with those defense downs, and I feel like his viability would rise up if they do address that. You know, Stitch is not in the best place right now, and I kind of throw Stitch in the same breath as Woody, because Woody, if you think back on Woody, he slows and has good single target DPS. Yep, I agree. Like Woody, if they reverted on the Stitch bomb, stacking defense down and then car bomb. Yep, I agree with that. But the problem is, how long is it going to take you to stack those defense downs, right, with his current kit? I think revisiting Woody, revisiting Stitch, and maybe putting back what they had, reverting what they had, maybe something interesting to look at. Next, and this is kind of there's a lot of opinions on this bottom row, and I get all of them, and I'm gonna try and cover all of them. Peter Pan is a good Club Conquest character. I personally tried to give him as much credit as I possibly could, because I don't really play him, right? I don't have him at 7 stars yet. I have the rest of the team at 7, but really that's more on Club Expedition. It's not because of what he does in Club Conquest. Maybe if I use him in Club Conquest and I see, more benefit towards myself, maybe he's a 3.5. Maybe that kind of Eric kind of thing where when you gear him up, he gets better. But I think 13th at 3 out of 5 is good. Peter Pan is an essential expedition character. Yep, that node, the Peter Pan node, is quite helpful for clubs to get past on. I believe it's floor. I want to say 4. I want to say it's floor 4. And who knows, in the future they may put 2 Peter Pan nodes on certain floors, and it'll be important to have them. I'm working on them. I have 2. Smee, I put right behind Peter Pan. I do like Smee's stun. Other than that, being a super fast tune is fantastic. I haven't ever really used or tried to use him in raid, given that he's not T8. But I've never heard anything interesting in the Smee camp in the raid. But having a very fast stun may be helpful if there are additions to the Oceanics, i.e. if they come out with Pirates of the Caribbean. You may see Smee be used just for quick stun. And with Maui and Moana being so quick, maybe it's Maui, Moana, Smee, and then the Smee stun. Who knows, right? But I think he can stay where he's at. A lot of potential, right? You might see 3 out of 5 and it's kind of, oh, they're trash, but they're not. It's gauging if they have future potential is really why I put 3 out of 5 on characters. And with that, Ariel, and once I get Snow White up and running, i.e. get her to 6 stars, gear tier 8, I do want to bring up Ariel to gear tier 8, and maybe possibly 9, just to test out with Snow White. I really do want to try the support characters with Snow White because you do see a lot of attack heavy teams. Your Moanas, your, of course, Merida. Rapunzel, is kind of there for her leadership and in the revive mechanic, and she has a stun. So she's kind of the trio there. You want Tiana, you want Snow White, you want Snow White, you want Rapunzel, Snow White, Rapunzel, Tiana. Those are kind of the trio there, but I want to try and factor in a few more of these characters. I don't know about Jasmine. I don't see much with Jasmine, but Ariel may be helpful, especially with the cauldron. And how it interacts with Snow White right now. If Ariel it just keeps healing up and healing up and healing up, and there's more magic and more magic, maybe it's something advantageous for ST defense. But we will see. Again, the 3 out of 5 section is kind of the project section. And I will be bringing up Ariel more. And I'll be testing her more. And that comes to Jack Sparrow, that probably should be 3 out of 5. I kind of did him a little dirty, like Crix has said, because again, he may have a potential just like Davy Jones with Pirates content. The charm is nice, and I really did want, if we see Barbossa come into the game, the ability to manipulate charm on the other team. And I'm not sure if we have the programming able to do so, but what if Jack Sparrow charmed 2 people, and say those characters are, I don't know, Merida and Rapunzel, and then on Barbossa's turn, he has the chance, before Merida and Rapunzel take a turn, to use his attack for the other characters. Like, for example, he can take Merida, and instead of him using one of his abilities, he uses Merida to attack the opponent, but their team. And I would be interested to see if it didn't only just include her basic. Maybe you charm a character and Barbossa comes up, you are manipulating Merida, and instead of her using her basic on her team, number 1, you can target it, and number 2, maybe you want to use the special B, where that's humongous damage, right? Something interesting with charm, right? Charm, I feel like they could do a lot with charm, but I feel like if you think of charm in essence, it's an attraction, right? It's an attraction. So if you charm Merida, she's attracted to your wants, right? What you want to do. So you then in turn get her to do whatever move and wherever you want that move to go. But maybe Jack Sparrow should be a 3 out of 5. But I digress. Next is Tinkerbell. And Tinkerbell, I don't really have much great to say about Tinkerbell. You know, her and Hook are really bad. I also, before putting this list together, I went and saw the power, the highest, the strongest characters in DSA, where it shows, you know, who has the strongest Kidda, who has the strongest Moana. And I didn't find Captain Hook, and I messaged Ursuraj, I believe his name is. I'm like, where's Captain Hook? And he's like, well, no one has him T9. And I'm like, oh, big oof. Yeah, Forbidden Death's Tink Team, rest in pepperonis. Yeah, that was a fun week. That was a fun week. But yeah, they definitely deserve to be at the back end. I really did want to put a 1.5 on Hook, but I was being a little bit nice, because you never know when certain things in people's kits fall into place, right? In metas and new character comps. But that is my list. I'm going to post it in my club Discord, my Alliance Discord. But thank you for the sub, JD. Thank you so much. What do you all think about this list? Let me know. But yeah, there it is. That's my thoughts. That's my opinions, just based on the interactions I've had with the game. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. Who is your favorite Oceanic character? Who is your least favorite Oceanic character? Let me know.